Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Another day in my life of watching movies. So, I think I'll probably watch the third Shrek movie today. I remember not liking it when I saw it on Netflix, but who knows? Maybe my opinion on it will change when I rewatch it. So, have it here on Blu-ray to watch. And this is apparently, of course, Shrek 3, but it's called Shrek the Third. Luke, don't watch it! Future me, what are you doing here? I'm here to warn you about Shrek the Third. Please don't watch it. It's a really bad movie. You really are going to hate it. Oh, you're here to warn me about a third Shrek film, aren't you? Well, when I say Shrek 3, I mean the true Shrek 3 being Shrek Forever After, not Shrek the Third. Oh, you're watching Shrek Forever After, the real Shrek 3? Yeah, that's right, I'm watching Shrek Forever After, the true Shrek 3. You know this, don't you? Oh, of course I know this. Oh, thank goodness for that. You're doing the right thing, Luke. That's the true Shrek 3. Brilliant. I tricked him into thinking I was watching Shrek 4, because I regard that as a Shrek 3, when actually I'm going to be rewatching what is officially the third movie. So, I'm going to set it all up now and get ready to watch it. Why did I trick my future self into thinking I was watching Shrek 3 after when I was watching this film? Why? That was a big mistake. Hey everyone, Lucimus Prime here. So, it is time for the next review in my review series of the films being, of course, the Shrek movies. And sadly, this third review is going to be a trash talk for this franchise's third installment, which is, unfortunately, one of the worst animated films I've seen in my life. One of the worst animated sequels of all time that I've seen. And this is definitely a big disgrace and disappointment to a franchise, which is none other than 2007's Shrek the Third. Or as I call it, Shrek the Turd. So, this film was directed by Chris Miller. So, how was it made then? So this film, of course, is the sequel to Shrek 2, and in terms of production, this was, of course, greenlit following, of course, Shrek 2's success. And this was, of course, announced in May 2004, and of course, as the film was made, it was not directed by Adam Adamson, because he was, of course, directing the film The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So I think without him directing it, that's probably the reason why the film went downhill, unfortunately, for me. So, and the film was going to be released in November 2006, but it was then changed to May 2007. So, this was done, apparently, to allow a maximised performance and to increase profitability, thereby generating enhanced asset value and better returns for shareholders. So, instead, in 2006, Flushed Away was released, which is definitely, in my opinion, a much better film than this, and, in my opinion, underrated gem of a movie compared to this. When it comes to this film's actual release, it was released, first of all, or premiering at Man Village Theatre Westwood in Los Angeles on May 6, 2007, and was then released in theatres in the United States on May 18, 2007. And compared to the first two films, which got lots of positive reviews, this film got mixed reviews. But despite these mixed reviews, the film was somehow a commercial success, grossing $813 million worldwide on a budget of $160 million, and it somehow became the fourth highest grossing film of 2007. It was even nominated for the Best Animated Film at the 61st British Academy Film Awards. However, when it comes to my reaction to this film, I saw this film for the first time on Netflix. I think it was in 2021 when I was watching the films on Netflix. And unlike these mixed reviews the film got, I would give a film a negative review because I absolutely hated it. I'd say this is probably for me one of the worst animated sequels I've ever had the misfortune of seeing in my life, ever. This film compared to the first two films is a massive disappointment and a big disgrace to the Shrek franchise. So, now, what is this movie about then? So, in the film, Prince Charming is plotting to overthrow Shrek and Fiona, and he's wanting revenge on them for the defeat of his mother, fairy godmother from Shrek 2, and they've inherited the throne following, of course, the death of King Harold, which I'll get to in bad qualities. Shrek has no interest in ruling the kingdom, and he instead attempts to convince Fiona's underachieving 16-year-old cousin Artie or Arthur Pendragon to reign instead. Now, despite me regarding this one of the worst animated films of all time, there's probably maybe a few redeeming qualities I could say for this film. So, now, I think some of the voice cast are good, in my opinion, as their characters. So, for example, Mike Myers still does a very good job playing Shrek, in my opinion, in this film. Even with the script to work, he still did a good job as Shrek, in my opinion. So did Eddie Murphy as Donkey, although Donkey, his script, in my opinion, was also pretty bad as well. Cameron Diaz was also a great once again as Princess Fiona, like she always has been too as well. So was Antonio Banderas as Puss in Boots as well. He was really good, and he was once again showing great commitment to a franchise because what was really cool about Antonio Banderas is in this film, not only did he do the voice for the English version, but he also did it for Latin Spanish and Italian version, which was pretty awesome. So, despite having a very questionable, pretty bad script, he still showed great commitment to his character by dubbing the role in several languages. Dame Julie Andrews was also great once again as Queen Lillian. And when it comes to of course, the new things introduced in this film, the only new character I liked in this film was Merlin, who is voiced by one of my favourite comedians, Eric Idle, how I love being a part of Monty Python. He was great as Merlin, in my opinion, definitely for me the best part of this film, and for me, the only part of this film that I actually found funny when it comes to its attempts at humour. Merlin, for me, was the funniest part of the film, and to me, the only funny part. Other good thing as well about the film is also as well, I also like the music composed by Harry Gregson Williams. It was great to listen to him this bit. So, despite this film not being a good film in my opinion, music in my opinion was still really good for what it was worth. And the animation was also good as well in my opinion too. Despite this film not being good in my opinion, the animation was still really good. Because obviously, of course, as the years go by for the films, the animation does step up, and you can tell in this film, it's a pity the animation has to be used for this film of all films. Sadly, however, now that of course is the end of the film's redeeming qualities for me. Because now we get to the bad qualities. So, you know how I said, Ed, of course, that Merlin was the only part of this film that I found funny? Well, here's why. Because, in my opinion, this film's attempts at humour were, in my opinion, pathetic and not funny at all. So, when it comes to King Harold, I mentioned before that he did unfortunately die at the start of the film, which is why, of course, there's an heir to the throne in Far, Far Away. And I will say that, in my opinion, the way they executed his death scene was absolutely horrible, in my opinion. Like, if they really thought it would make me laugh, then they failed miserably, because I personally did not find his death scene funny at all. In my opinion, it was stupid and terribly executed. Because what they did was, they had him have several fake-out deaths, where he appears to have died when he comes back to tell more about, of course, the heir to the throne, and of course, to eat a fly, because he's a frog. Then when he dies for real, it's just ruined, in my opinion. Like, the impact of it is just ruined because of those fake-out deaths. Like, that was just, in my opinion, so stupid how they did that. And I also did not like how they wasted John Cleese as well. Like, that was, in my opinion, a really dumb move, because he's also one of my favourite comedians, one of my favourite parts of Shrek too, as well, my favourite voice role of his. And in this film, he gets the absolutely horrendous alien-free cliche where he gets killed off at the start of the film. Like, I really hated that. He didn't deserve a send-off like that at all. I felt so bad for Harold. And the rest of the humour is also, in my opinion, not funny either. And when it comes to the story of this film, Shrek also finds out he's going to be a dad because Fiona's pregnant. And he, of course, is worried about how he'll be as a father. And it also leads to another terrible scene as well, which is probably, for me, Shrek's nightmare. Because here's a nightmare where he's got hundreds and hundreds of ogre children in his swamp home. And there's also another awful scene where he tries to wake up Donkey and Puss in Boots on the boat, going, of course, to Worcestershire to find Artie. And Donkey and Puss in Boots both have ogre heads. And we get Donkey then saying to Shrek, "Da da!" Like, oh my god, right? If they thought that would make me laugh, it didn't. I just cringed seeing it because, like, what the hell was this? Like, that was just an absolute joke in my opinion. And it's funny that this film is also third entry because this reminds me of another third entry being Jurassic Park 3, which, just like this film, is a film I hate and also has a similar nightmare scene as well. And if you see my nightmare scene, you'll know what I'm talking about. When it comes to Donkey in this film as well, I also think that in some parts they made him really stupid. Such as, for example, of course, how he doesn't know, of course, how becoming a parent happens when he already is a parent to babies, as, of course, the ending of Shrek 2 shows. And speaking of that, there's also a plot hole because the ending of Shrek 2 shows he's got 6 children, but in this film he's got 5, so where's the 6th one? Doesn't make any sense. There's also a really dumb subplot in this film, which was completely and utterly useless, where Donkey, Puss in Boots swap bodies as was also spelled by Merlin. Like, that in my opinion was not funny and was completely useless and pointless to a story. If he cut that out of the film, it would change nothing. Just so stupid in my opinion. When it comes to other new characters, I also did not care at all about them, apart from Merlin, because in my opinion they were very annoying and just one-dimensional and just pointless to a story. When it comes to Artie, oh my goodness, right? I really hated what the film did to Artie. Now, he's voiced by Justin Timberlake. Now, while I do like some of Justin Timberlake's songs, I would unfortunately say he was a miscast as Artie in this film. One thing I think is so dumb is, Artie, as the film shows, is from Worcestershire in Britain. Yet, for some reason, he's got an American accent, so like, last time I checked, Arthur is not American, he's British. So, that was just, in my opinion, really dumb what we did. And that's why I said Justin Timberlake was a miscast, in my opinion, as Artie. And doesn't even help us over, Artie was also, in my opinion, really annoying. Like, for this entire film, he was an insufferable brat, and I just couldn't stand him at all. Like, him being the heir to a throne, he's serious, that's just so stupid, in my opinion. And also, when it comes as well to Prince Charming, he does come back in this film as who is supposed to be the film's main villain. Now, what I will say is, the idea of him wanting revenge for the defeat of his mother, the fairy godmother, makes sense. It is a good motive to have to make him a villain. But, in my opinion, and the way it executed was pretty bad. Because in this film, he was nowhere near as great of a character as he was in Shrek 2, in my opinion. When you compare him to Fairy Godmother, and even to Lord Farquaad, he was, in my opinion, a really bad villain. And I just couldn't stand him in this film because he was so annoying and, like, I just couldn't stand him at all. And when it comes as well to the villains he recruits as well, I was also as well not a fan of them either, to be completely honest as well. For example, Ian McShane voices Captain Hook from Peter Pan. Now, I love Ian McShane as an actor, but unfortunately Captain Hook was, in my opinion, really generic and boring and one-dimensional. Thankfully, Ian McShane was much better in animated films I've seen like Coraline and Kung Fu Panda, but in this film, I personally did not like Hook. Ian McShane could have done a much better direction to than what he had here, unfortunately. And, yeah, this film is just, in my opinion, a joke compared to the first two films. And, like, I just don't understand what happened at all. Like, you mistreat some characters like King Harold and also Donkey and Puss in Boots, making them useless to the story with a very bad subplot. And also introducing very annoying, insufferable characters. Like, what happened? Like, the first two films were amazing, especially Shrek 2, my favourite. And speaking of Shrek 2 as well, when it comes to the motive of Charming wanting revenge for his mother, there's parts of the film where he does talk to his mother, and I think it was a missed opportunity to have General Sonos have a cameo as Fairy Godmother, who is like mortalising her son to get revenge, you know, as like a vision or something like that, or a flashback. Like, that would have probably made the story make more sense, in my opinion, but no, they didn't include it, which was definitely, in my opinion, a big missed opportunity. There's also, as well, cameos in this film, which, in my opinion, have also not aged well, because there's a cameo in this film, of course, by Seth Rogen as a sailor, one who takes, of course, Shrek, Puss in Boots, and Donkey to Worcestershire. And I used to, of course, like that cameo. I didn't even recognise Seth Rogen when I saw the film for the first time. And I was pretty amazed by him being able to sound so different to how he regularly sounds. But nowadays, I absolutely hate Seth Rogen. I can't stand him at all. So that cameo, my opinion of that has not aged well at all, sadly. So that really sucks. So, all I can say is, compared to the first two films, Shrek the Third, or as I call it, Shrek the Third, is a joke. And this film also has no impact on the franchise because, apart from, of course, King Harold's death scene, which is unfortunately canon in the next movie, you can literally skip this film and go straight to Shrek Forever and you're missing nothing. Because it has nothing to the story at all, this movie. At all. So, what I would do is, I'd, of course, cut this film out of existence. I would, of course, include Harold's death scene at the start of Shrek Forever, but I'd execute it much better this time and not make it into a complete joke, which is not even funny. That's what I'd do. I'd execute it much better than that. Like, Because I really think in this film they did it in a very stupid way, which wasn't even funny at all. Like, if they thought they made me laugh, then they filmed miserably, because it just wasn't funny at all. So, screw this one all away. And I can also pretend it's not even kind of a franchise, because Rumpelstiltskin appears in this film for a cameo appearance. And compared to the fourth movie, his design is much different. So, that, of course, helps me have a theory that this film is not canon. To me, it's not canon at all. I like to pretend that Shrek is only a trilogy of Shrek 1, Shrek 2, and Forever After, and that's it. That's as far as it goes for me, really. This film I like to pretend does not exist, and now I've done this trash talk, I don't need to watch it ever again for the foreseeable future. There's no reason why I should see it again. So, this is, of course, me doing my trash talk of 2007's Shrek the Third, or as I call it, Shrek the Turd. If you guys wondering what I'd give it out of 10, then just look at my ranking video that I did back when I ranked the movies. I give this film a very bad score of 4 out of 10. Screw it all away. Thankfully, I've got a much better film to rewatch, of course, next week, which I'm definitely really looking forward to rewatching, thankfully. So, this is me, of course, doing my trash talk of Shrek the Third. So, you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to drop in my comments what you guys think of Shrek the Third. If you see anything, comments below. Also, be sure to join the team by pressing subscribe for news to come in the future. And I'll see you all later.